What's going on, people of Earth? We're getting ready to do a really quick and easy recipe made with rutabaga and butternut squash. Now, rutabaga is kind of like a combination between a cabbage and a turnip. Sometimes it can be kind of bitter tasting, sometimes it can be sweet. So we're going to use the butternut squash to kind of cool or calm down the taste a little bit. So you guys follow me along. It's going to be kind of like a puree. All right, guys, this is going to be the simple part of it. There's that old ugly rutabaga right there. And when you see it in the store, it looks intimidating, but it really isn't. You got your butternut squash. Yeah, I could have used some fresh butternut squash, but these were already cubed up. And again, this is all selective. You can choose whatever types of ingredients you want to go in there. Vegetable stock, you can use water, dill weed, paprika, Italian seasoning, slap your mama. Onion powder, and we're going to use a little bit of ground cumin as well too. So first of all, we're going to chop up the rutabaga. We want to cook it first because it's going to take longer than the butternut squash. So of course, you know to bring your vegetable stock to a boil, and then we'll add our rutabaga to it. Now I want to show you something, guys. I think sometimes this is what makes the rutabaga bitter. If you leave some of that green looking stuff up there, it's not going to come out real good. So you want to make sure you take all of that out off of the rutabaga. You don't want to use any of that because it will make it bitter. All right, guys. Now, what I have found the best way to cut a rutabaga, in my opinion, now you can cut it however you want to, is to use a sharp meat cleaver. All right, since I was doing that one-handed, I kind of put the camera down because, again, it'll slip out of your hand and you end up cutting off your darn finger just to try to fix a stupid rutabaga. So, well, it's not stupid, but you know what I mean. But see how hard it is? It goes through there, guys. Look at that. Rutabaga is a real smart vegetable. Real smart. You know, we don't want to talk bad about the rutabaga. Rutabaga will kick your butt. You can use it as a weapon if you want to. All right, what I've done is I've just cut it in sections, and then we're going to make these into cubes. So it just makes it easier for it to come to a boil and tenderize. Alrighty, now we're going to add that to the pot. Going to bring it to a boil, and it's going to take these things literally about 30 minutes to get tender, or to get as tender as we need them to be. Then once 25-30 minutes goes by, then we'll add the butternut squash because it's not going to take that long for the butternut squash. Guys, I'm getting all ahead of myself. I didn't even add the spices, so we're going to put some dill weed in there. Okay. Let it cook along with it. You know, I use a lot of dill weed because it's just a good product to use. Use some paprika. And again, we're not using a certain amount. We're just using some. If you like it, you use it. Again, we don't want to overuse the slap your mama because it'll make it too salty. All right, bring it to a boil and let it simmer. And really, you want it to boil. You don't really want it to simmer. You want this to actually boil for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we'll add the butternut squash. Alrighty, it's been about 20 minutes here on the rutabaga. We're just going to test it and see if it's tender yet. And see, it's not, guys. I'm putting a lot of pressure up there. So it's not, it'll break, but it's not tender as I want them to be. But it is tender enough for me to go ahead and add the butternut squash. So we're just going to add this whole container of butternut squash in there. Nothing special about that. Making sure that some of the goodness gets covered up here. Again, it won't take the butternut squash long to tenderize. And guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that another 20 minutes. So that we're going to cook this for a total of 40 minutes. Alrighty, it's been another 20 minutes here. We're going to check on them now. There you go. See the butternut squash? It's tender. This is what you've got to worry about. This right here. And they're getting there. They are getting there. But they're tender enough for me to make a puree into. All right, guys, one thing I did leave out, we do need some heavy whipping cream or some buttermilk And you want some cream cheese as well too. Now this right here has jalapenos in it, so it's going to give it a little bit of a kick, but I left that out at the beginning of the video. Alrighty, so we've gotten out the food processor, and we're going to puree these with the food processing using the processing blade here. So we're going to have to get out the colander, that's the bowl with the holes, and drain some of this fluid off of it. Alrighty, we've added them to our food processor, and we're going to put our lid on here, guys. Snap it in place, and we're going to pulse it a little bit. So you're going to take a little look at it, make sure it's nice and creamy. And see, I still see some chunks in there, so we're gonna blend this a little bit more, and then we'll add our sour cream to it once it gets to the right blend. Alrighty, that is nice and smooth, and we're going to add this to a bowl, and we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. Now, guys, I want to tell you something. I just tasted it, and it is perfect like it is right now. That rutabaga's got just a little bit of a spicy taste to it. And then we got some of that slap your mama in there. So it is perfect like this. So I'm not going to put a whole lot of the heavy cream in there. Not a whole lot of the Philadelphia cream cheese either. So we're just going to add just about 2 tablespoons of that. And about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of that Philadelphia cream cheese. That stuff is stout too, boy. Woo! Lord have mercy. Then we're going to stir it all around and get it nice and mixed here. And guys, you got you a nice pureed butternut squash and rutabaga puree. That's all it is to it, guys. And we're just gonna fix our main meal with it. We're gonna have some ribeye steaks and some asparagus, and we're good to go. Alrighty, and this is what we're having our mashed rutabaga and butternut squash puree with. Some nice ribeye steaks and some asparagus. That's asparagus for you city folks. Gonna be a great meal. Peace, y'all.